All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakal Kodash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone for teaching his word in truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Hey, this is the brother Gabar Yahweh from GMX Hawaii, coming to you with another quick lesson. And this lesson is inspired by a video that I watched from Apostle Gabar's video a few days ago, and it was on this same subject. It was speaking about Norman Lear. This is the old man that you see right here with Octavia Spencer sitting on his lap, right? And speaking about Apostle Gabar, spoke about him and his relationship or business relationship that he had with Eric Monte. Eric Monte was the creator of famous shows such as The Jeffersons, Good Times, um, What's Happening, all right, and other shows, you know what I mean? But those being some of the three prominent shows that he made. And then he went in business with Norman Lear. And Norman Lear basically effed him over, you know? And, you know, here it is. This man just turned 100 years old. And the whole world is, well, the whole acting world, Hollywood world, they're exalting this man. You see the black woman sit on his lap. You know, you're gonna witness black women and so-called Negro men dancing and praising this man as if he's a great pioneer in TV and a pioneer of television, um, exploring the ills of America, which Norman Lear said. Norman Lear on laughing at the ills of America, which most of those shows was laughing at the ills of Israelites, you know, the downtroddenness, uh, the dysfunctionality, the oppression, the disenfranchisement. So he made these shows. Well, he produced these shows in the 70s, but he didn't create any of these characters. But yet they treat this man as if he created them, when in fact it was Jake that created them. And that's why I want to title this video of The Vilest Men Are Exalted, because this man is nothing more than a thief. This is St. John 10:10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. So Yahweh Shai is coming so that we, as the Israelites, can have life and have it more abundantly. You know, that's his purpose. Esau's purpose is what? To steal, kill, and destroy, man. And this man basically stole from this man and killed his career and destroyed his name in the industry. You know, now this man, he was unwise because he dealt with the enemy and he thought that the enemy would have his back. And he had these J. Brew lawyers and they jerked him around too, you know. So that goes to trusting your enemy. And our people don't believe that the so-called white man is their enemy. You know, as long as he gives them these goodies and these dainties, you know, especially those of our people that are in these different industries, they'll sit on this man's lap, they'll exalt him. Mind you, you about to witness hundreds of people praise this man, and nobody mentions this man right here. They're gonna praise this man for characters that he didn't even create, you know, and then he didn't even want certain of these characters like the Jeffersons. First of all, the dude that he hired for the Jeffersons was a homosexual, man. How about that? You know, we all grew up. If you grew up around the 80s and the 90s, you heard of George Jefferson or Sherman Hemsley, and everybody thought that this dude was the quintessential jive talking, spit in the face of the so-called white man type of guy. In reality, this dude was a chaser. You know what I'm saying? And that's why Norman Lear put him up in there like that. When you talk about Good Times, the show that he created, this man right here, and it's basically Good Times was created off of his life, just like Cooley High, What's Happening, you know. He came up with these different characters, and nobody's praising this man.
Did you have any idea that you would become an important man?
The two words that most occupy my brain at the moment are holy shit.
You outlived all the Golden Girls. Why?
I was just on when I was a kid. They had music when you were a kid?
It's been your masterful use of humor that has disarmed all of us. God, that's sexy. So we're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
Norman's always made sure that his shows featured families from different backgrounds, but the one thing all of those families had in common was love.
No matter what problems your father and I may have had, he is still your father, and you're the damn good one.
And then you see how like look at this. I don't know what the name of this show was right here, but she's talking up for the father. You know what I'm saying? But when he made shows about the so-called black man or the black experience in America, man, hey, he destroyed that, man. James Evans got killed off because he spoke up against him. He was tired of JJ being a fool, so they wrote him out and they killed him. Killed him off. Florida Evans eventually left the show. I can't remember her name, but the woman that played Florida Evans, she ended up leaving the show too. You know, but he makes shows for Edomites about, you know, their father being a damn good man, but they don't push that same spirit on our people. Oh, this man also came up with Eric Monte also came up with the American version of Sanford and Son, which was a UK show, but he wrote that the pilot for the show. He the one that told Eric Monte told Norman Lear to hire Red Fox, which he didn't want to do. You know, but yet they giving this man all the praise, and he ain't do shit. But still,
I'm a woman now.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. These were the problems of American families. We were all living there.
Yeah. Those shows gave people hope. I mean, you're talking about moving on up. That's an anthem.
When you look at the female characters he's written, it's not their gender that defines
he didn't write these characters. He didn't create. Look at this old ass Marla Gibbs, just through with the wig on. All the Jenkins out here just finished, man. And they smiling at this nigga. This nigga didn't create nothing. He stole everything, man. And he get to live a luxurious life. Hey, I was looking this up. I was like, how much is Norman Lear worth? They say this man is worth upwards to $200 million. And the dude, Eric Monte, they say that this dude is worth between 1 million and 5 million. And that's probably coming from his credit, his 1% credit that he had off a Good Time. He has made such amount of wealth from his primary career as a screenwriter, which he got jerked around as a screenwriter. You know, and so don't trust these numbers, because this man was living in a shelter. And this man was living in a shelter. He was addicted to crack. You know, he was drugged out, alcoholed out. But yet this devil, Norman Lear, he just living in the life of a boss, man.
It's their humanity.
And these Edomites, they get a kick out of seeing Jake singing songs about beans don't burn in the kitchen. and moving on up. Selling on the fuck out.
His service is critical to his story of a life deeply committed to equal justice, equal opportunity.
How? Because if that was the case, this man wouldn't have been crying about how Norman Lear fucked him over.
With Boy York and Norman Lear's partner, ABC had signed to do the show with that company, and my agent, Bernie Weintraub, had negotiated the job. He represents these two lines production companies at Norman Lear, the Tandem Production. So I wanted to produce it under my own production company. And I'm not mad at him for taking the Jeffersons. He can have that. I want to produce under my own production company. I'll make buku money. So they said, okay, but you've never produced. So you need some line producers. So I said, okay. So they said, your agent, Bernie Weintraub, he represents these two line producers, Saul Turtletaub and Bernie Ornstein. We want to use them. So I said, okay. So I wrote a script, the pilot script for what's happening. Turned it in to ABC. They accepted it. Okay. When they set up the offices, it said toy production. And I was like, who the hell is toy production? Turtle and Ornstein had gone out and formed a company with Bud York and Norman Lear's partner. ABC had signed to do the show with that company, and my agent, Bernie Weintraub, had negotiated the deal, all behind my back.
And these are the same Ornstein, Weintraub that did Sanford and Son.
Yes. So I went to the Writers Guild, and the Writers Guild was into, okay, we can get you minimums. Because I had proof that I created Good Times, I created George and Louisa Jefferson, that I created What's Happening.
Just by the sheer fact that you created those characters entitled you
to pay me.
Even if you didn't work on the Jefferson series,
Right,
the fact
right.
that you created those characters.
Right. Okay. So, but Norman Lear hadn't put my name on the credits at all, and I had proof. But the guild was into, we can get you minimum. And I felt I deserved more than minimum. So I filed a suit against ABC, CBS, Saul Turtle, Bernie Ornstein, Bud Yorkin, Norman Lear, Bernie Weintraub. I filed a lawsuit against them. So that's what happened. So at the end, my lawyers that were representing me, Norman Lear came to me, and he offered me $1 million for a settlement. And I said, for all those shows, no way. So the lawyers came to me and they said, look, take that money because you still have your suit against the networks and the others, but at least we'll get paid. So I said, okay. He offered me $1 million at one point of Good Time. So I said, okay. So when the papers came down,
how you gonna get this man 1 point of something that he made? You feel me? And then they honoring this fucking devil as a man to be exalted. It said right here. It says right here, billionaire TV producer Norman Lear may insist that he is just another version of you in a documentary about his life. However, there is at least one person who feels differently about the producer of all in the Family, Good Times, Jeffersons. Good Times co-creator Eric Monte was cheated out of hundreds of millions of dollars in potential revenue for his involvement in creating some of TV's most beloved characters. And this, so he got fucked over, man. All from the devil, man. From the devil. This nigga right here that he claims that he's about. This devil claims that he's about equality.
Hell until it does. Equal opportunity. And where that doesn't exist, he's going to fight like hell until it does.
Yeah, right.
There wouldn't be a sitcom like ours if you didn't teach us how to put the hard truth on TV.
And that fat black bitch always supporting this devil, man. And they're not even a mention this man, bro. They don't even mention this man. And that's the sad part about it, because they're exalting the devil. And he's no different than Cristobal Colon, man. Why Columbus Day should be a Jewish holiday, which we're going to get into that, man. Again, this is Psalms chapter 12, verse 8. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted, man. And that's what you see happening. When the wicked walk on every side, the vilest men are exalted, man. Okay? And this man's a stone cold thief and a liar. But yet, because he's a J-Brew, he pulling the strings, you know what I'm saying? Hey, they kissing his ass, man. At 100 years old, man. They kissing his devil's ass, man. You know? Norman Lear, look at this devil, man. He's still alive, man. I can't believe this shit. This nigga 100 years old, man. God damn. And look at him, just the devil, man. Satan, man. It says Lear was born in New Haven, Connecticut, the son of Janet and Hyman Herman Lear, a traveling salesman. He had a younger sister, blah, 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 blah. Lear grew up as a J-Brew in a Jayish household in Connecticut and had a bar mitzvah. His mother was originally from Ukraine and his father from Russia, man. These are devils, man. These are straight up devils, man. And this is the same story with all these J-Brews, man. They all come from Eastern Europe, man, with the bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? And then Jake selling out ass, will sign contract with this devil. And then they put this nigga on stilts, talking about if it wasn't for him, it wouldn't be shows like this. But it was Eric Monte that created all of this, man. It was this man, an Israelite. You know what I mean?
He just makes dreams come true.
I love you.
What is the secret to a long and happy life?
Appreciating the moment. How important is the moment? Oh my God.
Yeah, and while he blowing out candles and cakes, nobody knows. I don't even know what's going on with this guy, man. And nobody's gonna listen to him. Okay, it's Ecclesiasticus 13:3. The rich man have done wrong, yet he threateneth withal. The poor is wrong, and he must entreat also. And that's what's happening with Jake right here. Esau, the rich man, was Norman Lear. He threatened this man, but he is the one that did wrong. But the poor is wrong, but he gotta entreat. He gotta beg. You know, he has to beg. Verse 4, Ecclesiasticus 13:4. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. And that's what he did. That's what Norman Lear did to Eric Monte. All right. He said, if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yeah, he will make thee bare. He will not feel sorry for it. And you see that. Hey, this devil stripped this man bare. And he don't feel sorry for it. He ain't heard about it. He ain't get his man no bread. In his mind, that court injunction that Eric Monte brought up against this devil, that was a watershed moment. They bought him off with $1 million and they settled it, and that's it. And he's good. Everybody's taking pictures of this man. Everybody's trying to take pictures with him, sit on his lap, kissing his ass. He gets to sit up there with that fucking fedora on his head, after a long life of wickedness, man. But that's okay, because he's gonna get his anyway. So it doesn't even matter. Eric Monte gonna have that nigga in deep slavery, man. So it says, if he have any need for thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee. That's what he did. That's what he did to Eric Monte, and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? Hey, whatever you want. You want the big house? You want the car? They gave all that to him. They gave him Mercedes. They gave him a big home, and he lost all that shit. Not Norman Lear. Norman Lear didn't lose nothing. He got a long life and he got a deep pockets. Verse 7. And he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. And at the last he will laugh thee to scorn. Afterward, when he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee like he never knew you. And that's what happened to Eric Monte. That's why I call this dude Norman Liar. He's not no Norman Lear. This nigga's a liar. And it says why Norman Lear was sued over Good Times, his tragic memoir.
In fact, many of our favorite TV characters were created by Norman Lear. Or were they? You may love the Jeffersons or the Evans family and wonder how Norman came up with these fascinating characters. But there's an unsung hero who helped create many of our favorite characters. He wanted American audiences to see black heroes on screen and never got the credit he was due. In fact, he ended up suing Norman Lear over Good Times. Keep watching to find out more. Norman Lear's career. There's no doubt Norman Lear is a genius. He helped create some of the best American sitcoms of all time. He began his career as a comedy writer in the 1950s and flourished through the 60s. By the time the 70s came around, he had the power to create his own shows. Among them were All in the Family, Maude, The Jeffersons, and Good Times, to name a few. These sitcoms were instrumental in giving opportunities to black talent. These shows were the first time American audiences could see the black American experience without the usual slapstick and degrading performances of characters like Stepin Fetchit or Amos and Andy. All in the Family and Maude mostly featured white cast members, but it was on these shows that we first got introduced to George and Louise Jefferson, as well as Florida and James Evans. We then saw these characters on their own shows, The Jeffersons and Good Times. To this day, Norman Lear is remembered for his incredible contributions to these shows. He's also been credited for creating opportunities for black American actors that didn't exist before, but there's more to the story. Before we tell you more about why Norman Lear was sued over Good Times, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. Eric Monte. In the 1960s, a young man named Kenneth Williams dropped out of his Chicago high school, Cooley Vocational High School. He enlisted in the U.S. Army, but didn't last long. He had an insatiable thirst to tell stories and a rebellious spirit, the entire journey taking him 2 years. On the way there, he carried a dream. He wanted to be a writer despite not having formal training. He grew up watching popular American TV shows, particularly westerns. He was also an avid reader, received credit for his work. But to this day, it's a bit of a mystery which episode he contributed to, as he didn't receive credit for his work. But Eric Monte has claimed he's the creator of George and Louise Jefferson, who first made their debut on All in the Family. These memorable characters were then given their own sitcom, The Jeffersons. Eric Monte also created Florida and James Evans and their children, who then had their own sitcom, Good Times. Apart from his work on Good Times, he also wrote the screenplay for The 9 Lives of Fritz.
Yeah, so, that's just background on my man Eric Monte, right? But like Elder Apostle Bar had posted this video right here. Hey, this is how Esau rather see Jake, like this.
I can do some shuffling too. Look out, man. What you going to do? Coming through. Yeah, man.
And you want to see Jake shucking and jiving and dancing and shit. But meanwhile, this devil, he gets to live a long life of prosperity, But that's the way it is in this world, man. And that's why this world's going to end soon, man. This is the book of John 8:42. Yahweh Shai said unto them, if the Most High were your father, ye would love me. Because Jake, they support Esau, man. For I proceeded forth and came from the Heavenly Father, neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not understand my speech? Even because ye cannot hear my word. Ye are of your father, the devil. Our people, they supported Esau, especially during the Roman period, and he's the devil. It's not talking about Satan. It's talking about Esau. The devil is the slanderer. It says, in the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And that's what Esau is. Here it is. This dude, Christopher Columbus, was a murdering, genocidal maniac, right? And he was a J-brew. They don't talk about that. These Italians, they believe that this dude was an Italian, but he was a small hat, just like Norman Lear, right? And he destroyed Israelites, man, of the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, right? And they exalt his man. They get his nigga a day. They get his nigga a day in this country and other countries, but mainly here in America. But let's listen to this. This is from the Jewish Independent Nonprofit, or the forward.com. It says why Columbus Day should be a Jewish holiday. John Oliver last week tonight asked a really simple, this is from 2014, asked a really simple yet poignant question. How is Columbus Day still a thing? At this point, the American education system has modified textbooks to indicate that no, in fact, Christopher Columbus did not discover America. In fact, as Slate points out, the Italian explorer who set sail to bring wealth and glory to the Spanish monarchy was actually a colonizer whose arrival on the American continent, which he didn't come to America, the Americas, but he came to the Caribbean islands first, but then all the rest of them came behind him. So he brought death with him. And his American continent brought misery and death to millions of Native Americans through slavery and disease and warfare, man. So here it is. This devil brought nothing but death to millions of people, right? And these Edomites, they get mad at Kanye for talking about the Adolf guy, But hey, y'all moms get that dude a day, just like you gave this devil a day, But they see that the Adolf dude, he goes against the narrative for them. They're trying to paint a whole new narrative. But wait a minute, you exalt this J-brew who killed millions of our people, millions of the Israelites, man. And this man got a lot of blood on his hands, man. When he come back in captivity, it's gonna be over for men like him, man. every last one in the Northern Kingdom gonna get their hands on this motherfucking devil, man. Watch, man. Anyway, I digress. It says Spanish monarchy was actually, it says the Italian explorer who set sail to bring wealth and glory to the Spanish monarchy was actually a colonizer whose arrival on the American continent brought misery and death to millions of Native Americans through slavery, disease, and warfare. So why do we still celebrate Columbus Day? For Jews, at least, there may be a little known reason to keep on marking this day. Columbus was Jewish. Not only that, but he was basically the Theodore Herzl of the 15th century. Charles Garcia outlined all of this in an article in CNN back in 2012. Over the course of the last decade, Spanish academics and historians, including Jose Irogo, right, have concluded that Columbus was a Marrano, a crypto Jew, whose survival depended on keeping his Jewish identity sealed and hidden in the face of anti-Semitic ethnic cleansing. And there wasn't no first of all, that word didn't even exist during his time, anti-Semitic ethnic cleansing. They ain't, nah, they were being kicked out because of the shit that they was doing, man. You know what I mean? And then they're not even the real Judah. You know, that's not even them. But anyway, this is the book of Obadiah 1 and 6. 1 and 6. He tried to hide it, but wait a minute. Why they don't bring that out about him? They call him an Italian explorer. He wasn't even Italian. Obadiah 1 and 6. How are the things that Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Right, man, because he tried to hide this, man. They tried to hide this fact that he was a crypto Jew. You know, a person that was feigning to be a Catholic, but in reality, he was a J-Brew, man. All right? And it says, whose survival depended on keeping his Jewish identity sealed and hidden from the face of anti-SIM card ethnic cleansing. Known as Cristobal Colon in Spain, Columbus didn't even speak Italian. But you got a whole bunch of these greasy heads supporting this dude like he was an Italian, and he wasn't. His last will and testament, written in Spanish, made some rather unique provisions which have tipped off historians about his religious background. On the date of his death, May 19, 1506, his Jewish roots started poking out. Two of his last wishes, tithing 1/10 of his income to poor people. Yeah, right. Providing an anonymous dowry for poor girls. All this, here it is, right? And that's what they do. They kill a whole bunch of people and then they feign themselves philanthropists by giving money away. Like, that's going to help. And it says, apart from the Jewish tradition, he also explicitly decreed giving money to a poor Jewish man living in the Jewish quarter in Lisbon, Portugal. In his will, there are subtle yet noticeable symbols, a triangular signature of dots and letters that is distinctly similar to the symbol found in a Jewish tombstone in Spanish cemeteries. He requested that his heirs always use this symbol as well. A triangular signature of dots and letters. On October 12, 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Winfield Sackville Jr. famous poem reads, but another significant event happened that day, further alluding to Columbus' Jewish heritage. October 12, 1492 was the same day that the King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella issued a decree giving Jews the choice of being forced to convert to Christianity, leaving Spain, or if they remain in Spain as Jews, being subject to torture, murder by decree of the crown. Simon Westenshaw argues in his book Sails of Hope that the date of Columbus' voyage was no accident. That date was in fact chosen in the hopes of finding Jews a safe haven from the crown. But when he came to Americas, he committed straight wholesale murder. He wasn't looking for no home and trying to hide from the crown. He was working for the crown. What's more recently discovered evidence indicate that the Spanish monarchy deep pockets did not fund Columbus' expedition. Yeah, we know it was another guy. Instead, two Jewish conversos did. Garcia reported Luis de Santiago and Gabriel Sanchez advanced an interest-free loan of 17,000 ducats from their own pockets to help pay for the voyage, as did Don Isaac Abravanel, rabbi, Jewish statesman. So even though Americans, well, we can thank this J. Bruce for all the death then. Amalek. So even though Americans are over Columbus Day, he didn't really discover America. No, he didn't. And his expedition brought nothing but misfortune and suffering to the indigenous Americans. Jews shouldn't be, after all, if you refrain. Jews shouldn't be, after all, if you refrain Columbus to see him not as a brutal colonist, but as a visionary looking for a safe home for Jewish people. He's not all the ideologically different from Herzl and Israel. So when they go find the home, they just kill a whole bunch of people and rape them and destroy them and enslave them. That man wasn't looking for no home, man. He was looking for where the real Israelites were staying, man. But again, Psalms 12 and 8. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted, man. And Christopher Cologne, just like Norman Lear, these are some of the vilest men on the earth, man. You know, some of the vilest people, but then they'll say that this is an anti-SIM card message. No, it's not an anti-SIM card message. This man is the devil. Just like this man is the devil, right? Okay? And they exalt these people. And they're not just dumb. You got all in America, they exalt wicked and evil men. Even to this day. Even whether they be Edomites, whether they be wicked Israelites, Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, all wicked people get exalted in this world, man. Okay? And you see that. They try to paint this dude as he was just looking for a home. Wait a minute, if you were looking for a home, nigga, you would have found somewhere and set your ass down. But what did he do? He killed millions and enslaved millions more. Right? Okay? And then they try to paint this dude as a Herzl. And Herzl was a demon too. He was a demon too. But that's another lesson for another time, man. But these are the kind of people that they exalt. That's why the Lord's going to put the light of the wicked out, man. Let me get that, man. This is Proverbs 24 and 20. Proverbs 24 and 20. It says, "For there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out," man. And that's right. It's not going to be no reward for these devils, man. There ain't going to be no reward for these devils, man. Your light going to be put out, man. The light of the wicked is going to be put out. Okay? But we're speaking about these things now because, hey, these things have to be said, man. And his lies are being brought up, man. Okay? I'll end it off with Lamentations 4 and 21. The book of Lamentation, chapter 4. We'll start at 21. Lamentations 4 and 21. Okay, it says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, which you Edomites, you're the Edomite, you're the daughter of Edom, you Jays and the rest of you Edomites around the world, here and abroad. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwelleth in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. What cup is going to pass unto the Edomites? The cup of destruction, slavery, banishment, all of that. The hell that we catching in court, these devils going to catch at times too. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. Right, they're going to be drunken with destruction and confusion. And their sins are going to be seen. That's what's going to be naked on them. Because right now, nobody look at these men and see his sins that he committed. Again, they treat this man like he's a god. This man is 100 years old. This dude was a straight up demon, a murdering demon. And hundreds of years later, or well over 500 years later, they still exalt this man. But in the kingdom of heaven, that's not going to be so, man. It says, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. And that's what this is that we're currently in right now. This is our punishment, but guess what? It's about to come to an immediate end. Especially when Yahweh Shai get here, it's over. He will no more carry thee into captivity. So we're not going to suffer slavery and captivity no more. Our enemies are going to suffer, starting with the nation of Edom. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So Edom, your sins are going to be discovered. Okay? Your sins are going to be discovered. All of them, man. All of them. You can't, and you're not going to be able to hide behind the Jayish narrative that you that you put up here. Whenever somebody speaks the truth against you, you say that they're anti whatever you say, you know. But that's the way of this world, and the Lord's about to bring it to an abrupt end. And so with that, I hope you are edified. With that, I will say shalom, on to the next.